Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and it is January 8th today. And I don't know, I feel like I'm behind, and it feels like January 1st to me today, and I feel like I'm still struggling to get January rolling. I don't know about you guys, but that is how I feel. But today is Casing Tuesday, and it's the day when we take a card out of the catalog, one of Stampin' Up's catalogs, and we copy it. And the great thing about copying cards is that it takes some of the stress out of your own design work, and often we find that when we're copying something, we're changing something, so that's just awesome. And so we have this group called Casing Tuesday that you are welcome to join, and we have a group of bloggers on there that copy the same card each week, as well as I do, and we invite everyone else to come copy along with us. So I hope you'll join our group, and I hope you'll share the card that you've made, because that's what makes it fun. It's nice when I can create a card, but it's even more fun when our cards inspire other people. So we hope that you will join in. So on to today's card, it is out of the Celebration catalog, and I turned mine into a birthday card. And I don't know about you, but when January hits, the 1st of January, I'm already behind, and I have lots of birthdays in January, and those poor people that have birthdays in the first week of January, because they're not going to get a card on time. No, they're not, because I'm still cleaning up from the holidays, and I still have my Christmas tree up. We took down the outdoor Christmas lights, but those were just really quick. But I'm already behind, and I need birthday cards, and I want to make birthday cards with my new stuff from the catalogs. And so I was like, I need birthday cards. So today's card I turned into a birthday card, and I always, whenever I'm creating, I'm always like doing something different, something, maybe that's not quite simple and easy. And if I just tell you how I did it, it will be like, oh, that's so easy. But sometimes it just takes someone to show you that little tip or trick that I use. So I hope you'll join me for the rest of this video so that you'll get to see how I did it. If you're listening to me live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 8th, I am live. So please feel free to answer or ask questions or put comments. I will make sure I skim them afterwards and see if I can answer any of your questions. If you are joining me from YouTube, I will not be live, but I still love your comments and questions. So if you have them for me, please feel free to post them, and I will get back to them as soon as I can. So without further ado, let me turn the camera around so I can show you today's card and show you how I did it. So let me do that. So here's my view this morning. It's a very overcast day, and this morning there was a little bit of snow coming down, so it's kind of, I don't know, kind of an iffy day. I think we might even get some more precip a little later, so we'll see about that. I'm planning on spending most of the day in. I walked this morning in the cold weather, which I do every morning. My husband and I, we walk, so that's awesome. But that's my view this morning. And in the afternoon, I like to walk on my treadmill, and it's really the only time I ever watch TV or a movie or something like that. So that's kind of my me time, walking on the treadmill, watching something that isn't business related or something. All right, here is today's card. I love this little frog, and I was kind of tempted to repeat this card because it is so cute. And look at this dot to dot embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that in the background, but that kind of, you know how like a toad may have those little bumps or little, and you can see it on this little frog right here. That kind of mimics the frog skin a little bit. So it's a really nice touch to have that in there. And the Gingham Gala Designer Series paper is so awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let me just show you. So that frog set is a celebration set, and this is our rewards catalog. For every $50 or $100 you spend from now until March 31st, 2019, you get to pick something out of this catalog. So it's either $50 or $100, and the frog stamp set is one of those $50 items. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's in here somewhere. There you go. Isn't he cute? Those little frogs are just adorable. I always love frog stamps. I probably have mentioned this before, but we used to have tree frogs in my family home in British Columbia when I was growing up, and they were just so cute. So I have a thing for little frogs, so these guys are really cute. The celebration item I am using today is another great item, and it is not a stamp set. It is the Organdy Ribbon Combo Pack, and guess what? It matches perfectly with the Gingham Gala Designer Series paper. All the colors in the ribbon are also in the paper, so it's a really nice add-on. The Gingham Gala paper is in the Occasions catalog, which you can purchase when you get up to $50. You can choose this as an item. So I just wanted to point that out to you. This is the card that I made based on that same layout, and it looks completely different. I don't know if I've already closed the catalog, but they look different, but yet they are pretty much the exact. Let's see, you can kind of, let me see if I can get this so you can kind of see the difference, but they are the same, but they look different because I use different colors. And I use different images, so you can kind of see that they are based on the same thing. So that's kind of cool. And now, new this January, I told you last week, we are also creating a sketch for Casing Tuesday. So you will find this on the Casing Tuesday website as well as my blog, and you'll find a photo of the sketch with all the measurements on it, so that it helps you when you're creating your card. Now, do we want you to follow this sketch exactly? Like, Brenda, do I need to have an exact 2-inch circle? No. This is meant, Casing Tuesday is meant to be a starting point, and you have to kind of adjust according to the images you have or the words you have. So you can adjust this, but it's a nice starting point because now I know, okay, the original card had like a 2-inch circle. So now I know kind of what type of images to look for. But if I find something that I like that's a little bigger, a little smaller, you can make adjustments. So that's kind of a nice thing. So you definitely have a look at the sketch because it can be really helpful for you when you're creating your cards. So today I'm using the Piece of Cake stamp set. This stamp set also comes with a punch. So I have listed the bundle in my supplies on my blog. You'll find the link to my blog post in the description of this video. But today I am just using the stamp set. This has all sorts of little cakes and a little cake stand and some greetings. So it's a great all-inclusive stamp set. Just want to mention too, I have a host code. If you spend $75 with me this month, you could spend it on over 2 different orders as well, or all on one order. But if you spend $75 with me this month, I will send you some ribbon. This is the ribbon I'm sending everyone this month who spends $75. It's this beautiful 2-tone ribbon, and so you can get a spool of that. Just as an aside. So celebration rewards at $50 and $100 increments, and if you spend $75 with me, you will get also a little treat from me. All right, so let's do this card. And I thought about this, and I used the Grapefruit Grove coloring on this one. I find oranges and yellows kind of hard to use. They're not really my comfort zone colors, so sometimes I force myself to use those colors just to break out of the cycle. but I thought today I would do it in the Highland Heather color so you could see a different one, because I think sometimes orange is not necessarily the first color people will choose, and I thought maybe changing it up with a different color so you could see the potential that you can make this card in all the different colors of the Gingham Gala Designer Series paper. So to start off with, let's do the stamping. So I need a piece of Whisper White, and normally I will stamp first and then punch second, but in this case I'm punching first and stamping second. So I'm going to need my 2-inch circle punch, and this is just a piece of Whisper White. I'm just going to punch a circle, and then I'm going to use my 1-inch circle punch, and I'm going to also punch a 1-inch circle for the greeting. Actually, you know what? I think I need to stamp first on that one, so we'll leave that aside. I still have some room here, so. But for the cake, anyway, you will want to punch the circle first. And I just have a scrap piece of paper here just to protect my work surface. So I'll put that on there. And I'm going to use the Smoky Slate ink pad. And I need my cake stand stamp. It's already on a block. Ink this up. And I want to stamp this coming off of the circle. So I'm just having the top part of the cake server, and the bottom is actually coming right off. So you can see just cutting off right below the little stripe on that cake server. Okay, I think I don't need a scrap piece of paper anymore. Why don't I stamp the happy birthday while I am here? And I punched this one first, and I thought I did that same thing for the happy birthday, but for the happy birthday I did a different thing. So the happy birthday on this stamp set is all on one line like this. Well, I needed it to go in a circle, so guess what? I cut it right in half. Yes, I did. And sometimes you can put both of these on the same block and stamp them together. But I wanted it to fit on a 1-inch circle, and that left too big of a gap in between. So I need to stamp both of these separately. So I have the word happy and I have the word birthday, and they're on 2 different blocks. So I'm going to start off with the word happy. Let me see if I can use this tiny piece of scrap paper. So I'll stamp happy first, and then this is in Smoky Slate. And then I want to get birthday right underneath. You see how I can do this? My head is kind of in the way. But see, I'm trying to get them fairly close together, and I couldn't do that when I had that on the same block. So let's see if I can get this into the punch. Oh, yes. Perfect. So I'm just going to punch that out. Look how close to the edge I was. Ha! I did a fairly good job. All right, so I've got my happy birthday. Come on out. There we go. And I'm done with the Smoky Slate. And now I'm going to use the Highland Heather ink pad. So on the original card, I used Grapefruit Grove. So I'm just switching up my little colors here. So Highland Heather, and I'm using the cake with the polka dots and stripes. You can use whatever you would like. Making sure that this is the right color. Ink, ink, ink. And I am just kind of centering this on my cake server. Like that. And then I want to stamp the candles. Well, guess what? The candles were kind of long. So they're too long for the top of my thing. They would kind of come off. So I'm going to make shorter candles by using a little Post-it note. So I'm going to put the Post-it note just below. You can see that? I just put it just below the top of the cake. Now you want it below, not on that line, because if you put it on the line, there's going to be a gap between your candles and the birthday cake, but you want it just like dead right on that line. let me put away my Highland Heather ink pad. And now we need soft sea foam. I'm using the exact same colors as my original card, but I'm just switching out the Highland Heather. So we're going to try soft sea foam for the candles, which is what I used originally. And I'm just going to hopefully try to get this centered. Sometimes, so I'm using like a really tiny block, and sometimes that obliterates the visual on the side because of these edges. So if you ever have trouble seeing where you're stamping, you can peel this off. Let me get some of the ink off this and just show you what I do. So I'll take a B block instead, which is bigger than my A block. And it might be a little bit too big exactly for the stamp, but what it gives me is it gives me a bigger window to look through when I'm stamping, because when I'm trying to like center something and the image is too close to the edges of the block, you cannot see through that, and so you're kind of guessing. So let's see if I can see a little better now that I have a bigger window to look through. Oh yeah, and that is so much better. So now I can come in and stamp that and get it much more centered than I could with an A block. Doesn't that look good? Yay! And I think, you know, if you look at my original card, my candles are just a little bit off center. So that's what I noticed yesterday when I did it with the A block. So a good reason to put your stamp on a bigger block if you need to see exactly where you're stamping. Oh, it looks cute already. Okay, so now we need to color it. So I need a few colors, so we'll need Smoky Slate, Highland Heather, we'll need soft sea foam, and we're going to use Pineapple Punch. These are all the lights from those colors, okay? So first we're going to take Smoky Slate. I'm going to use the bullet tip because I don't have a lot of space to maneuver. Like in certain areas I could probably use the brush tip, like down here, but I have to get into kind of tight spaces. So all right, so I'm going to leave that little striping right there blank. It's always good to leave a little bit white so it doesn't look too overwhelmingly too colored. So for the cake, I'm going to color this base stripe right here, and then I'm going to color in all the polka dots. So it's going to look like a cake with white icing with purple fondant cake, right? I've never made a fondant cake, but it looks like a lot of fun. Has anyone ever made a fondant cake? Is it hard? I see that you roll out the fondant and then you kind of layer it over the top. It looks kind of like fun. I used to decorate cookies, not like really professionally, but I did play around with, you know, how you kind of, you know, outline the cookie and then fill it in and stuff. That was kind of fun. I did that sometimes when my son was small and I had to bake cookies for something. Oh, doesn't that look pretty? So far, so good. My little fondant cake that I actually didn't bake. Oh, I need soft sea foam next. Also the bullet tip. I'm using the bullet tip for each thing, the lights and the bullet tips. So I'm just coloring in the candles. And then for the flames, I am not staying within the lines. I'm going to color around the top of each of those flames because it's a flame, right? So you want it to kind of glow a little bit. Okay, I think we've done the hardest part of the card, so that will layer on there like that later on. So let's get the other parts of the card going. So, oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to emboss next. So you see this polka dotted layer, that's using the dot to dot embossing folder. So I need a piece of cardstock, and where are my measurements? That's so handy to have the sketch here right now. This piece is 2 inches by 4 inches, And let me grab my Big Shot out here. Okay. And I have my base platform on here. Right here. Then you need a cutting plate on the bottom. We're going to be putting in this piece of cardstock in like this. So you could do it one of two ways. You could do it so it has the up and down pattern, which I guess could be interesting. Or you could do it like this, like in the original card. Let me switch it up. Let me do it going down. Let's see if I like that. You know, just change it around a little bit. Just for the fun of it. So that will create the up and down pattern. And I just noticed that somehow I chose the polka dotted cake, which matches perfectly with the polka dots on my embossing folder. So the cake and the embossing folder match. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I did that intentionally or not, but there. See, so you can have the dots going in either direction. I moved them this time to go in the opposite direction because we're having kind of an opposite day card with the different colors. Okay, so now I've done all the Big Shot work. And I need a card base, so I like to do the tent fold because it just looks nicer when I photograph it. So this base is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and I've scored it in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark, so then I can just fold it. I'm also going to need a piece of the Highland Heather Gingham Gala Designer Series paper. That's a long word. Okay. Or long sentence. This piece is 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So that will layer on here, kind of centered. And this one will come on here. Okay, and then we need a banner piece. So this piece measures 4 inches by 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to need my triple banner punch, and I'm going to make this banner much, much smaller. So I'm going to slide this in on this groove in the center. This is meant for a 1 inch, so it's going to kind of be loosey-goosey. So instead of trying to match it up here, I match it up upside down. So I kind of slide it down that center slot all the way to the edge, because I know if I do it this particular width at 4 inches, it will shrink it down to be 2 3/4 inches long, which is exactly what I need. So from 4 inches down to 2 3/4 inches if I butt it against the edge. So I just want to make sure when I'm doing this that it is centered here. Sometimes I find, like if I were doing this and moving this along the slot, sometimes I find that I'm a little bit crooked at the bottom and I don't know it. That's why I like to look over here on this side, because I can make sure that I'm not crooked. Now if your width is 1 inch long or 1 inch wide, then of course it's going to be perfectly aligned and you won't have to look at it upside down. But if you're using a size that isn't one of these widths, 1 inch, I think 1 1/2 inches and 2 inches, then it's better to look through on the opposite side. So this should be 2 3/4 inches long now. So that's going to go on there. And then these two pieces will go on here like this. Ooh, it's looking good already, isn't it? And then we're going to need a piece of that pretty ribbon. So I've got all my ribbon in a basket, and this is the ribbon that you get if you choose that for your celebration item. You get all 5 spools of this ribbon, and isn't it gorgeous? I love it. Love it. So we're just going to need a little piece of the Highland Heather ribbon. Let me angle cut the end a little bit, and I need to kind of just measure a piece. All right. Okay, so now all I have left is the assembly. So I started a new tombow this morning because last night I was having to shake it a lot. So I opened up a new one this morning. I always have extra adhesive on hand because I panic when I get down to like the last bottle. So I always have like a couple extra like snail refills. I have, you know, extra mini glue dots because I panic if I don't have the adhesive on hand. So especially Tombow. I use a lot of Tombow. Okay, so this one, look at the checks on the back. They're nice too, right? You could do the bigger checks or the smaller checks. I think the smaller checks work better for the scale of this card though. So I am just going to center this one to kind of make it easy on myself. Okay, that's somewhat centered. And then this one is going to come along here. It's going to be just a little bit up. So let me add this onto here. Like that. All right, and then this little guy, he's going to be up about here. You want him sticking off a little bit here because that's kind of the charm of this card. I think I would have a hard time designing this particular layout myself, but I love the layout. And when you can just piece it together like this, oh, it's so much fun because, you know, someone's done the hard work of deciding the layout. I did the work of measuring all the layers. That's a little process in it of itself to make the sketch, but it's so worth it because then we all have the sketch to work from and it makes my life a whole lot easier. So then this little piece, I don't think this one would hold on very well with glue. So I'm going to take a little piece of Terran tape and I'm just going to put it in the center of the banner where it's going to be underneath this circle. We will not see it. So if I have no fingernails right now. There we go. Tap that back down. And then I can just layer this on top and underneath like that. I might need to trim those ends a little bit. So you can come and just, if you want them trimmed, I think that side is good. And then we're going to layer this little one on here. I'm trying to decide what kind of adhesive to use. I think I can go with Tombow. Because it's kind of not layered up that well. We don't have a lot of contact. Maybe I'll use Terran tape for this one as well. I always, you know, I'm always trying to use the optimal adhesive for everything because, you know, I want things to stick together long enough. So I think Terran tape would be the better option for this particular one. So now just need to peel these off. Okay, so I had a little piece of the corner. My phone is ringing. I had a little piece of the corner up here, so I'm just going to wrap that adhesive over. I think that's a spam call. Okay, so I'm just going to layer that right on here, like that. Sorry about the, yeah, it's a spam caller. I can see it from over here. I wish there was a way for me to zap it. There, it stopped. Yay. All right. I need I guess I don't have my little mini dimensionals, but I have my regular dimensionals, which should work right here. And I'm just going to take one of these and I'm going to kind of stick it towards this top corner right here because I'm layering this on here. So I need a little height to back up this corner right here. So I'm going to put it in this top corner right here rather than sticking it right in the center because part of it is going to be resting on my cake. So I just kind of want a little bit up here like that. Yay, that looks pretty good. What do you think? All right, I know it's probably not going to be a contest at all, but which color do you like better? Do you like the Grapefruit Grove or do you like the Highland Heather? You know what I think? I think when you pair the two cards together side by side, they make both, they make the other card look better, because having complementary colors like this on the opposite side of the color wheel, they always make things look better, right? So if you if you made a card set with all the colors in here, that would look fabulous, wouldn't it, right? Because all the colors play off of each other, and it would make some of the colors, like maybe the Grapefruit Grove, which I have trouble with oranges, right? So it would make the orange look better because you're pairing it with a purple and a blue. That would make it pop, right? So yeah, the purple, yay. I know. That's why I have to work on my love of orange. So, you know, because it is a harder color to work with. You know, these cards are, you know, pretty much identical except for the base colors, right? And there's some colors that the eye just tends to like better. And I don't know why that is, but I don't know. I think maybe 9 out of 10 times or 7 out of 10 times people would choose the purple card. But together, sitting on the table here like that, they look fabulous, right? Okay, so let me look up and see if we have any questions. Oh, we have someone from Massachusetts. That's cool. You must be a close neighbor or a neighbor-ish. I don't know what part of Massachusetts you're from. I am in Newton, so that's just right outside Boston. So, and from Denmark and Missouri, how cool. And Mexico, that is really neat. Arizona, wow. Okay, all right, we don't have any questions, so I'm going to turn around. So it is January, and you probably have birthday cards to get out too. So I love this stamp set, this piece of cake stamp set, because it's got all these cute little cakes in it that you can use to make cute little birthday cakes. Yeah, it has just these cute little greetings on it that you can use to enhance your birthday card. So it's a nice all-inclusive set. And I think this layout works really well for making up the birthday cards. I don't think this card, other than the stamping, I don't think the card would take too long if you wanted to make a lot of them, if you kind of did it assembly line style. Like I would do all my cake stamping first and then the little happy birthdays and stuff. And if you get it going in a system, I don't think it would take you too long. You could make up a really nice card set with it. So I want to see what you guys do with this layout. You know where to find it. Look in the description of this video. Either go to my blog or go to the Casing Tuesday Facebook group. Ask to join if you're not already a member. If you are a member, you should be able to get right in and click on the card for the week. And so I hope to see you guys do some stamping. And let me know if you have any questions. Celebration's a great time to get free product. So whether you are a demonstrator or a customer, or I didn't mention the starter kit today, but the starter kit is one of the best starter kits we've ever seen before. If you want to see information on that, go to my blog, the link's in the description, and click on join, and it will tell you a lot more about getting the starter kit this month, because it is a fabulous deal. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you back here next Tuesday with another Casing Tuesday. So until then, have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.